Welcome to the Postgame podcast. Al Dukes here. No Jerry today. I've got the Eddie Scazzeri. Welcome, Eddie.
Hello, podcast people and YouTube person.
Oh, yeah, the YouTube person. So I watched over the weekend, and this is kind of interesting in that I had been hearing about this new UFO documentary, and it's called The Age of Disclosure. And I've been hearing a lot about it. It had been screened at these various film, what do you call those things? Like
Film festival?
film festivals, exactly. It had been screened.
Like the Cannes Film Festival or Sundance?
Yeah, well, it wasn't one of those big ones, but it had been getting screened, and they were looking for a distributor for this film documentary about the Age of Disclosure. And it finally got a release date, and it came out on Friday on Amazon Prime, but you have to either rent it or purchase it.
And how much is the purchase?
So this is a strange one because to purchase it, it's $25. To rent it was $20.
Wow, that's very high. Usually it's 15 and like 4.
Yeah, but they do this thing now with new releases where the first couple weeks it's out, it's expensive, and then once it's been out for a couple weeks, then it goes to the like $3.99 thing. But I really wanted to see it, and because I knew like there'd be guests on Joe Rogan, and it was really interesting. But because here's the thing, it has 34 people on record with either current or former government credentials that are all telling you straight to the camera. We have craft that have either crash landed or were given to us. We have bodies of biologics, they call it. And they're all telling you this is a thing. We have it. They are back engineering it, and they're in a race against China and Russia, who have also gotten a hold of some of these ships and are trying to do the same thing. And that it's sort of like a battle now of you don't want your enemies to be able to back engineer these craft in order to use it for bad reasons against us, like in a war of some sort. And everyone just kept talking about, like, finally, this film is out. People are going to finally realize. But what's crazy is because it's on freaking Amazon and you got to pay for it, the only people that are going to do that are the UFO people.
Right, who are very interested and predisposed, perhaps.
Already agree that it's out there. This is like the type of thing that needed to be on Netflix.
Right.
So that somebody who's, I guess, kind of interested, I'll put it on, that they would watch it and get into it, tell their friends.
Or
I don't know.
Or on CBS or NBC or Fox.
Something,
or
yeah. It just, man, I feel like this really needed wider distribution. But there is talk, even in the documentary and then since the documentary, that they believe that Trump may be the president to come out and say that all this is true.
And he had said prior to his election that he would, yes?
Yes, I believe he did say that. But people think like this film now is going to push him in that direction. Although, again, I don't think the film's going to get the reaction that the film people and fans of the film think it's going to get because of where it's airing.
Correct. And that it's $25.
Yeah, $20 to rent it, or
And
$25.
So what, maybe 100,000 people saw it?
I don't know, but like it's all the people who already are into it. That's the thing that's tough. But
so once again, we have this big disclosure, and again, it sort of is very disappointing for those who want it to be front page news.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing. It's just like years ago, they'd go, "Oh, why do these UFOs always show up in a farmer in Alabama?" That would always be the thing. But now, 34 people on record, on film, no faces blurred, no voices changed, all very credentialed. Astrophysicists, people who work currently for the government, people who work, the head of the CIA, former head of the CIA, former head of the Department of Defense. Like these are like very credible people. And it's just, I don't know. At this point, I don't know what, like, I don't even know, like, if Donald Trump came out today and said we have UFOs,
Mhm.
the UFO people will believe him.
Mhm.
The people that hate him will think he's a total wacko
Mhm.
now. So I don't even know that it'll do anything.
These are the best aliens ever.
They wanted to come to America more so than China.
They waited for me.
They waited till I was in president. Yeah. So I don't know. Uh, it's wild because if you watch that, there is no way you walk away from that without believing. I don't
Mhm.
think. I don't know how you could watch it. Now, are there videos? Unfortunately, no. There are not videos that they show us in this documentary or pictures. It's more of these people have reputations, these people have resumes, and they're telling you what is going on. And they go through all this stuff about like, why do we not see pictures? Why do we not see this? Why are everything blurry? Why is they kind of go through all of that stuff to like any questions that you may have. And it makes it does make sense, but I just don't know where it leaves us.
Well, ultimately, unfortunately, it's all still hearsay.
Yeah.
And as I think it was Carl Sagan said, extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof.
Yeah.
So we're still lacking that.
And what's weird now that we're in this era now, where even in the sports world that we see every day here working, if a video comes out, we go, is it AI? Is it
Mhm.
real? How do
Mhm.
we know?
Right.
Now you could actually have a ship land, someone film it, put it on social media, and we'd go, this is AI.
Right. Unless you're there. Unless it's like
Yeah.
in front of thousands of people in some like a public like at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade, for instance.
Yes. I will give you a couple of the most outlandish things I heard about
And
on
how long
this.
is this, by the way?
It was probably an hour 45.
And you went straight through.
I did. I actually
Okay.
watched it twice
Okay.
because Gina wanted to watch it and I watched it again.
But not immediately after.
Um,
Like you didn't stop and then start it right
no,
again.
no, 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 no.
Okay.
Because the first time I watched it in like three different parts. I watched
Okay.
it here, and then the second time I watched it all the way through. There is a claim that, and again, these are people who with credentials that said on a Air Force carrier out in the middle of the ocean, where that a ship landed on the Air Force carrier,
Mm.
and a being got out and talked to people, high-ranking people on this Air Force carrier.
And
But
was this a prearranged meeting or just
no, just it didn't seem that way according to this thing. That it just landed and talked to the people who were on this.
so when you say high ranking, so it wasn't just the captain or the admiral
Well,
on the ship?
I guess whoever was the highest ranking people on the
Okay.
ship approached this thing when it landed.
But it wasn't like some other, for whatever reason, maybe they were doing some sort of a covert ops and the head of the Department of Defense or the
No,
CIA was there.
but for some reason, the Air Force themselves don't ever talk. The Navy has got a ton of people that have come out on
Yes.
the record, and they say that the Air Force is part of the what's keeping it secret. The
Mhm.
Air Force, the places like Lockheed Martin that have these craft that have been, Department of Defense contractors that have these craft that they're trying to back engineer, and that the Air Force is part of this, hiding it from the public, and that the Navy pilots are the ones that are reporting all these
Mhm.
things. But they said, like, without the Air Force coming forward, it's very difficult to, like, they need more people coming forward with this stuff.
And that was going to be one of my questions, which you answered, was that, all these ships and bodies, but was there a living being that came and had a dialogue with us, and you're saying yes.
Yes, supposedly there was, and that the dialogue was such that it was more like telepathic
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah.
dialogue,
Mind speak. Yeah.
mind speak. Yeah, where you knew what they were saying, they knew what you
Right.
were saying,
Their thoughts appeared in your mind.
and that there was also people on there that said that George W. Bush after 9/11, shortly after 9/11, that they held a meeting and George W. Bush wanted a list of things of positives and negatives of what could be affected if the president came out and said, these UFOs are real, we have them, we're in an arms race against Russia. And what would be the impact to religion, to the financial markets, all that stuff. And that when they balanced everything out, it was best not to
Mm-hmm.
come out by saying that.
Right. That's one of the From Childhood's End, which is a classic science fiction book by Arthur C. Clarke. Um, when we get visited, and they have a lot of the answers. It's the phrase is all the world's religions can't be right.
Yeah,
So, which one is right, or are they all wrong?
right.
And it could destroy religion. It could.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's wild. I don't know, man. When you hear some of these people talk, man, you think like it's on the verge of happening, and then parts of me think still people won't care.
Well,
Like the people who are really into it
hmm,
will be like, I can't
of
believe
course.
this,
Yeah.
but it still won't get to like the masses.
Hmm.
Like, will my sisters hear about this? Or they be like, yeah, I think I heard something on
Right.
the news. Like, it's not, is it going to be a big deal or not?
Um,
I don't know.
it might take the White House lawn landing situation.
But even with a different president, I feel like I think if it landed on the White House lawn now,
Right.
people would
It
think
would be
Trump
part
did
of the
something.
UFC stunt.
Yeah, yeah, or like Elon Musk did
Right.
it, like something, right? Some sort of stunt.
Hmm.
What do you think are the biggest? So for non-believers, what are the biggest hurdles other than like you said the Carl Sagan quote? What was it?
Extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof.
And I think the other guy, the popular,
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
yeah, I think that's one of his things also.
Hmm.
What do you think are the things people would need, or I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Like, what are the biggest questions do you think people have? Like, if you were going to watch this
Hmm.
documentary, what would you hope that the documentary would help, like, to ask questions of, like for example, they went, okay, so why are all the pictures blurry?
Hmm.
And the astrophysicist and the other scientific guy who have worked on these in these departments claim that the objects are actually in a clear bubble,
Hmm.
and that way they're not affected by the Earth's atmosphere because they're in this bubble. So when you're taking a photograph of it, you're taking a photo of the bubble, which will then create a blur.
Right. It'll like diffuse the light or what have you, because they
Yeah.
have for lack of a, not to use a silly term, but like a force field or something.
Yeah, like a force field.
Right, which is just distorting all of our camera equipment.
Yeah, which is why they're saying it can go into the water, out of the water,
Hmm.
up to space, back down, go against hurricane force
Sure.
winds, all these things with no effect.
Right, but again, if they've mastered interstellar travel, that kind of stuff would be no problem. They probably
Right.
could fly through a star and be okay.
Yeah. One of the things that doesn't make any sense to me, and I'm a full on believer, why does it need lights?
Mm,
You know,
good question.
like why does it need to have lights on it?
Yeah, you would be right. Right? Can't it just be invisible or behind some sort of a cloaking device, to use a
Yeah.
Star Trek term?
Yeah.
Something like that. Right.
That's the biggest one for me. That
Right.
one doesn't make sense. Like,
A-
why
a-
does it have
And was
lights?
there only in the hour and 45 minutes, was there the one example of contact, like in intentional, I forget what a close encounter number of that would be, where they're speaking to us.
Yeah,
It
as
was
far as
only
like
the one
where they
example.
purposely did that.
Yes, yes.
I think that's the only one I remember. There were
Mhm,
others when there was a crash
mhm.
that there were beings that were alive.
Right, and that's another thing, like, they've come across interstellar distances and then crash because
Yeah,
on
people
Earth.
have brought that up
Yeah.
for sure. Well, they say the Roswell one was a electrical storm, like that
Mhm.
there was a very bad electrical storm.
Right,
The witnesses from that night.
right, but you know what kind of radiation there is in interstellar space?
Yeah, and if they're in that ball I was
Yeah,
just
right,
talking about.
exactly.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
one's a weird that's a
right,
definitely a question,
right.
like, why are they crashing?
Mhm,
Um,
and why is lightning affecting them?
yeah. Yeah, that's one as well.
Mhm.
Now, is this something if you didn't have to pay for it and it was on, would you
Oh,
watch this?
100%, yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again and I want to believe, to quote the old, X-Files poster
Yeah.
in Mulder's office. I do want to believe desperately that we're not alone in the universe and that some advanced civilization is going to save us from ourselves
Yeah.
and fix the climate change and tell us what to do and how to join the galactic community and all that stuff. I desperately want that. I mean, I read science fiction constantly, and that's something that is you know a dream of mine to have this benign alien race tell us that everything's going to be okay and we'll help you and we'll fix it and there'll be no more war and there'll be no more disease and hunger and all these things and come join us in the great interstellar community.
Yeah.
That's who wouldn't want that?
Yeah, you if they're peaceful.
Yes. And even if it means sort of admitting that hey, we're not the top dog, fine. That's you know fantastic.
It's also strange that, these 34 people that were in this film with big credentials, some still I mean, Marco Rubio is in this
Hmm.
thing. The guy's still a top political guy in the country. Um, that it's strange that they can say a lot of things and not say other things.
Hmm.
Like, why is any of it like, why isn't all of it classified? Why is some of it classified and others can say, I worked on these things. We were back engineering UFOs. Why is that okay to say, but more details are not? Like, why not have the whole thing
Well,
as
these people who are already, in theory, sort of letting out secrets, they're not letting out all the secrets. They're all holding something back. Is is
right?
is seemingly yes.
Yes, they all will talk to a point, and they are all saying, I am telling you, we are not alone in the universe. We have been visited for decades. We have some of the craft. I saw beings. They're straight up telling you. And then they won't get into like, okay, so where are these craft? Or, oh, we can't.
Right.
That's top
Yeah.
secret.
Well, because then you're getting into like the proof area.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to say all this crazy stuff, but all right, where's the proof? You know, and that's when they pull back. Well, I can't say that's classified, but the fact that the guy landed on an aircraft carrier and talked
Right.
to
Why is
us,
that not classified?
yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, it's they that you go around in circles with this because they say this, but yet they don't have the proof or they can't tell you the proof. So it all comes down to the same thing where majority of people are gonna roll their eyes and not believe it. And the ones who already believe will be like, see, I told you.
And critics of this think that all of these people are in on the conspiracy of tell them it's
Yes.
UFOs and aliens,
In misdirection.
misdirection, and it's really us and superb military.
And when we're setting up the world government or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's
it is
again that you
wild.
can always find a conspiracy theory to top a conspiracy theory.
Yes.
Yeah, and you don't really ever get any answers.
No.
It's going to take somehow for them to talk directly into the brains of everyone on the planet, which I'm assuming they could do if they wanted to,
Yeah.
and perhaps that would convince people. But until that happens, we're just gonna be right where we are.
Man, I would love to, like, when they say that they have high resolution pictures and
Hmm.
videos, that the Air Force does, and
Hmm.
of course, it's all top secret.
Not the
Man,
Navy, but the Air Force.
the Air Force has the ones that they're
Right. The
not.
Navy gives out the Tic Tac videos.
Yeah, Tic Tac, gimbal. There's all those couple of things. Right, they give out the videos that are the radar, so it's not really,
Mhm.
you're seeing a blip on the radar screen. I don't.
And then and this contact, or with ships or what have you, not direct speaking contact, but it goes back to Second World War in most cases.
A lot of them actually go back to Roswell as,
Well, that was 47, which is
yeah,
after the war.
that's where they feel like it really started.
Well, a lot of the science fiction tropes are, once we split the atom, that's when they said, okay, now we got to get involved and see,
Yeah,
let's, so that's the point. Whenever those tests were in the, I guess, 44, I forget when the first Trinity went out in New Mexico, Los Alamos, when that happened, that's when they said, okay, just like in the Star Trek universe, it was as soon as we developed warp drive, then the Vulcans came and said, hey, you're not alone. Let's tell you what's about this United Federation of Planets.
so once we get to a certain
Correct.
technological
Right.
spot,
Right.
then they come and,
And it was warp drive, which is faster than light travel,
yeah,
which means you can move around and get to places
yeah.
without going to sleep for 100,000 years.
So, yeah, so it's called The Age of Disclosure. The, filmmaker is on Joe Rogan that just posted,
Hmm.
a couple days ago. So I was listening on the way in. And then on YouTube, if you look up a guy named James Fox, he's a filmmaker. He's
Hmm.
put out a couple really good documentaries with a lot of these same people. And I believe those are free on YouTube. I forget the names. The Phenomenon one is called. And then he has another one too, which is very good. And I think those are free on YouTube.
And is it also said outright or implied that every president going back from to the time of the first time, every president who takes office is let in on the
No, in fact,
information?
they say they're not let in,
Mm,
that presidents are looked at as temporary employees,
mm,
and it's the layers underneath them, the people who have jobs in the Department of Defense for 40 years. Those
mm.
are the people that the presidents only, kind of on a need to know basis.
Even the ones that were there at the beginning, like Roosevelt, Truman, Eisenhower.
Yeah, that I don't know, but they did make it a point like that. The presidents don't know
Mm.
everything. And even if they're inquire, they're only told, I guess, supposedly as much as they need to know and other
So maybe
things.
Trump wanted to say, but then when he got in there, like, no,
Yeah, right. Very possible.
yeah.
Hmm. All right, Eddie, let's do the warm up program. We'll
And
be back here tomorrow.
I wish that we would have gotten somewhere
Mhm.
other than just more questions, but that's the nature of this topic.
Yes. And it's definitely worth checking out if you're a UFO type person.
Hmm.
All right, we'll do the warm up now. I did that with CeeLo. I'll be back here tomorrow at 5 a.m. with CeeLo. We'll do another Eddie podcast tomorrow.
Mm.
Then I don't know what's going on Wednesday because you're out Wednesday, Jerry's out Wednesday. That may be a Friday special where
Yeah, I
I
think so. You post the warm up
and
and then
so. All right, so let's do that warm up right
okay.
now.
So
So